You already know that Bluey almost had an older brother, but the story of this character is still a mystery to most fans. But is there really anything to talk about when it comes to the lost son of the Healer family? Name. And the answer to that question is obviously yes! Starting with his name, which would have been Billy Healer. The names of Bandit and Chilli's pups all start with the letter B, following the Healer family tradition since Grandpa's name is Bob. But if you're wondering why the little puppy's name would be Billy, we're going to explain it right now. The name Billy means great protector, and that has everything to do with his breed. In real life, the cattle dog, or healer, is a type of shepherd dog that watches over and protects cattle on a farm. In other words, it fits the character perfectly, just like Bandit being an archaeologist who digs bones out of the ground, and Chilli being an airport security officer. Everyone knows dogs act as protectors and that they love digging in the dirt. The fact that Bluey's brother would be named Billy fits perfectly with the way the character was built, just like a lot of the things we're about to show you right now. You already know, right? Another Cinewave is starting! Pregnancy. There's a terrible truth about the existence of Bluey's brother. Chilli's first pregnancy was very difficult, and we all know that sadly things didn't work out. In the episode The Show, we discover that Chilli had been pregnant before and that something very bad happened during that time. There are several reasons for this, but the main one is that Chilli comes from a family that seems to have trouble having children. Her sister almost certainly has the same issue, and their mother had a terrible illness that definitely made it harder to have kids. That means Bluey and Bingo's births are two huge miracles in Chilli's life, and that's heartbreaking because Chilli must have tried so hard to have a baby, but she lost her first pregnancy and blamed herself deeply for it. And we're going to show you just how sad that really was. Color. Maybe you think that just because Bingo had a blue balloon on her belly during that school play, it means Billy Healer would have also been blue, but it's not that simple. In fact, we're sure he would have been a red healer, just like Chilli and Bingo, and the reason is very simple. It was already revealed that Joe Brumm, the creator of the series, originally planned to make an animated show where Rusty was the main character, but he gave up on that idea and created Bluey instead. That's why our little pup looks so much like Rusty. If you put them side by side, you'll notice they're almost twins, just with different colors. Rusty has a reddish color, and that's why we're sure Billy would have looked a lot like his mom. The balloon in the play scene was only blue because the girls thought Chilli's first pregnancy had been Bluey, but they were wrong. Tragedy. But sadly, Chilli's pregnancy didn't work out, and a tragedy happened in Billy Healer's life. A lot of people think he was born and later passed away, but that's not what happened, and we have the proof. The truth is that Billy died before he was even born, and the first clue is in the episode Sleepy Time. In Bingo's dream, she's born from inside planet Earth, almost as if our world were an egg. Earth is the third planet closest to the sun, which in Bingo's dream is represented by Chilli, and in this case, Bingo is Mrs. Healer's third child. The planet Venus is also cracked open, and it's the second planet closest to the sun. Bluey is Chilli's second daughter. Did you catch the Easter egg? And do you know what's even more interesting about Bingo's dream? The first planet closest to the sun is Mercury, and it isn't cracked open. You understand that every cracked planet represents one of Chilli's pregnancies and the birth of a puppy, right? The first planet isn't cracked because the puppy inside it was never born. That's why Billy Healer never came into the world. All the clues were there the entire time. Would you have liked to meet Bluey's brother? Comment the hashtag Billy so we can get to know you. Age. How old would Billy be today? The truth is that this has never been officially confirmed, but we do have some clues. In the world of Bluey, there are three types of dogs who are kids. The youngest ones between 3 and 5 years old, like Bingo, Muffin, and Socks. Then we have the middle group, who are between 6 and 8 years old, like Bluey and her classmates. And finally, the older kids between 10 and 12 years old, like Mia, Captain, and Digger, who is Rusty's older brother. If we count the fact that there are 3 age groups for the kid characters in the show, and that, in theory, Chilli was supposed to have 3 children of different ages, then there's only one possible answer, right? Billy would be a 12-year-old boy. There's the Bingo level, the Bluey level, and the Mia level. The oldest child in the Healer family could only be in the age group above his sisters, and that would be the Mia and Captain level at 12 years old. Bedroom. You know that the nursery room used to be Billy's room, right? If you pay close attention to that part of the house, you'll notice it was designed to welcome a baby boy. The walls are green, unlike Bluey's pink bedroom walls, and there's also the fact that Chilli and Bandit made both daughters sleep in the same room instead of separating them. And that makes sense because they were children, but also because they're both girls. In a family with kids of opposite genders, it's common to keep them in separate rooms so each one can have their own privacy. In other words, it makes perfect sense that Billy's room would be the one with the crib, because the Healers originally planned to have 2 children, 1 boy and 1 girl, but the universe gave them Bluey and Bingo instead. Toys. Still talking about Billy's room, do you know what his very first toy would have been, and that we can actually see in that part of the house? First of all, it's important to make it clear that Bluey and Bingo are not the type to leave a toy abandoned. We can see that in the episode Mr. Monkey Jocks, where neither of them wanted to give up the toys they had received. But in the nursery episode, there's a very interesting detail. Notice how in the corner inside a box, we can see an abandoned green teddy bear. Curious, don't you think? That bear is only there because the girls don't recognize it as theirs. Of course, that would have been Billy's toy, and we know that for 3 reasons. First, it's stored inside a box in Billy's room. Second, the girls never touched that teddy bear for anything. And third, the teddy bear is green. And do you know what that has to do with Billy? Let's look at the room's decoration. If you pay close attention, you'll notice that not only is the teddy bear green, but the walls are too, along with a guitar sitting in the corner, and even the chair in the room is green as well. It seems like the healer couple decorated the entire room around that same color. And since Bluey's room is pink, we can be sure that teddy bear in the corner belonged to Billy. Did you notice that detail? Sports. What would Billy's favorite sport be? That question is important because there are 3 possibilities. The first one is rugby, which is Bandit's favorite sport, and in that case, of course Dad would take his son to play that sport, right? But there's another activity competing with rugby. Billy could also really love field hockey, which is Chilli's favorite sport. She even took Bingo to practice it. And the other possibility is cricket, which is Rusty's favorite sport. We already explained that the original plan was for Rusty to be the main character, but that idea didn't work out. Because of that, there are fans who believe Rusty is the creator's way of showing us what Bluey's older brother would have been like. In other words, the sport Billy would most likely love would definitely be cricket. But what do you think about that?
There's a new video here every day, so subscribe and hit the bell to stay up to date.
Indy. There's a very interesting theory about Billy that says he would have been Indy's boyfriend in the future because of the plans the creators had for Rusty and Bluey's little dog friend in the future. But that's kind of strange since he would have been older than Indy. Maybe the original plan was to change Billy's age and make him Bluey's twin, and that way he would be closer in age to Indy. In that case, we would have had 2 main couples in the show, Bluey and Mackenzie and Billy and Indy. Do you think that would have worked? Adopted. You're probably also wondering if, at some point, Chilli and Bandit might adopt a son and name him Billy, and that is definitely a possibility, since Chilli clearly does want more children. At the beginning of season 3, she's crying in front of the crib because she wished another baby was there. That makes it clear she wants another puppy. But in the episode Perfect, when Bandit is talking to Winnie's dad, we learn from their conversation that the dads are discussing Bandit getting surgery that would stop him from having more children. But nothing prevents the 2 of them from adopting a child. Could that be the future? Guilt. Still talking about adoption, we have a theory about the healers trying to adopt a child. They may have even tried to do that in the past because, as we already proved, Chilli and Bandit really wanted to become parents, but they weren't able to because Chilli was struggling with depression and blaming herself for the loss of her first child. We can see her insecurity as a mother in the episode Baby Race, and when people try to adopt a child, there's a government process to determine whether or not you're able to do it. Back then, Chilli was deeply sad and wasn't able to adopt a child, but now she seems much happier. Nephew. And finally, there's another theory saying that Chilli's sister's child might actually end up being adopted by the healer family. That's because some people think Aunt Brandy has the same illness her mother had, which is why she can't have children, and that she may not survive long enough to raise the baby herself. Remember that in the episode Dragon, we discovered that Chilli's mother had a terrible illness, and it may have been passed down to her oldest daughter. Could this actually be true? Whatever the future holds, you'll discover everything right here on our channel.
We've left 2 videos on your screen so you can choose and keep having fun with us. See you in the next video.